Namaste and welcome everyone to Kio World, your soul podcast for inner peace. My name is Christina and I'm very grateful and excited that you are for the first time here in the podcast show or that you are back. And today I will speak with you about how to reclaim your energy, about one path in the yogic tradition, Brahmacharya, and it is about the art of directing your sexual life force energy. So I would love to speak and will speak with you today about all the topics of at first really understanding what is our sexual nature, right? Like what is this creative energy and how often it is actually very misunderstood in our society today. And in the yogic tradition, Brahmacharya is really more about your energy management and really understanding this sexual life force energy, this creative energy, and how to use it in a right way so you feel that you're not leaking your energy and that you're using your energy wisely, right? And what can you do to connect with this energy, to connect with your creativity, with your in the moment, not feel connected to your creativity. And also I will speak with you about how we can overstimulate our body, which happens very often in the moment in this very fast-paced dopamine world, which even in the next upcoming years, everything will just even be more faster. And yeah, how you can prepare yourself by that, not losing the connection to your body. And no matter if you're listening and if you are a woman or a man, like this is really for everyone. And I would love to share with you also like how Kundalini Yoga helps you in that way and how you can really activate also the Kundalini, the life force energy. And I will share with you at the end here an active Kriya, an active practice. And I will go with you through that. And this practice will literally help you to connect more with this energy and to really increase the life force energy and your sexual life force energy in the body. And at the end, I will guide you through it and we'll do it with you together. So let's take all a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling through your mouth, leaning more back into the seat you are in. If you are walking, then just lean more into the body and come back into the present moment. And yes, enjoy the episode. A lot of people in the current time feel sometimes very drained, very disconnected from themselves, very tired, right? And very often that actually comes because the energy is leaking. The energy is not directed into the way where your energy should be directed. And a very big part of that, and as all you know, is right, like energy goes where attention goes. And you need to just now, by listening to this podcast episode, if your day started or if you're in the middle of the day or in the evening, just go in your mind with me now through your day and just literally think, how did your day today look like? On what did you focus, right? Which informations did you took into your system, right? Because by taking informations into our system, this is how we are forming our personality, right? We are becoming what we are looking at. We are becoming what we are eating, right? We are becoming the energy that we are focusing on. And by that, this energy becomes us, right? So just check in with yourself. Where did you put your attention also on? On what did you focus on? What informations were coming into your system? And if in your system, for example, are coming informations of fear, of just looking, for example, through social media and becoming jealous or angry or looking at a lot of hate comments, etc., or discussions, or looking too much into the news, right? This is why in Kundalini Yoga, the master of Kundalini Yoga said already years ago how actually I think every spiritual master was saying you should not watch the news. And we are actually not made for watching the news, right? Like if something happens in the world which should affect you, you will know it because it will happen in front of your eye. And now, of course, your mind kicks in and think like, oh yeah, but what if I should be prepared? And what if that? And this is actually a good change that happened today. In my personal opinion, it is not, because we are so more in fear, right? And you literally need to understand, for example, how news are working, right? How the media is working, how they are, for example, making their money, and how, the stronger the headline and the more dramatic, the more people will read through it. And this is what we also spoke last time about in Asteya, non-stealing, right? Not stealing the attention of people, right? In a way. And this is news are, for example, if they are not just like fact informed and are like in a very dramatic way, because of course it's good to be informed, right? But it always is the question, and this is what we will also in the upcoming episodes will check, like, where does the knowledge come from? Like, where is this wisdom and all the informations you're consuming coming? Like, where are they coming from, right? And how mindful can you still be with that, right? So coming back to your energy is leaking. So if you observe that while you are reading through news, like you are programming yourself with what you read, right? By the books you read, by anything that you observe on your phone, on the TV, on your laptop, by the people you are surrounded with, by all the things you do on the day, your energy is leaking if these things are not making you feeling more alive, right? And a lot of people are calling that their normal life. They think it's normal to be tired in the morning. They think it's normal to be exhausted, right? And then my question would be, how did you start it your day, right? Like, there's the beautiful saying, if you take the time for putting the energy in, for having a golden morning, right? In Germany, we say, die Morgenstund hat Gold im Mund. It actually means like the morning hour has gold in your mouth, like if you would translate it like that. And that just means like if you take the power of the morning, right? Like if you take the power of the morning, your day will be amazing. If you move your body in the morning, imagine your day will be 10 times better, right? People said like we humans should not look into the sun, but actually in the morning and in the evening in the yogic tradition, we call that sun gazing. And your third eye, the point between your eyebrows, your pineal gland, will actually be activated by this red light and the blue light that comes from the sun in your system. So, before we are diving deeper into the topic of understanding your sexual energy, it's very important to understand energy in general, to understand frequency in general, and to understand that everything you do, everything you listen to, every words you speak will create your vibrational frequency in your body. So, what is the sexual energy and what is also the Kundalini energy? I really want to separate these two things from each other because I think, especially sometimes when people also are a little bit hesitant to come to Kundalini Yoga, they think it, yeah, for example, they think it's like similar to Kundalini activations or to Tantra. And actually, like Kundalini yoga works very differently. And I think everyone explains in today's world the Kundalini energy a little bit different. So I will do my best to explain it to you as good as I can, even if, like, as a yoga teacher, I need to tell you, you cannot explain it anyway, as you know, you just can experience it. And a lot of people are interpreting it quite different. And I think that, yeah, that just, brings today a lot of misconception and all of that. And however, yeah, I just want to tell you, like, it's, for example, Tantra and Kundalini yoga works very different, but also if you really study Tantra in depth, then you also understand what Tantra really is, right? What people sometimes on the surface think like, oh, like it's just like about, getting into an intimate sexual act with someone else. However, it's actually about way more than that. So let's start from the ground. We need to understand that we have a male energy in life and we have a female energy in life, right? We have man and woman, right? Just let's see it as two poles in life, okay? So, man and woman are able to create children, right? This is why a universal law is that every child has a biological mother and every child has a biological father, right? Every one of us, no matter if we know our parents, if we grew up as an orphan without them, no matter what, if we like them, if we don't like them, you should always accept your parents. However, you have a biological mother and a biological father. So, what for an amazing thing God had in plan that man and woman are able to create life together. Man and woman are able to manifest life. What for an godly act. And you need to understand that you, even if you don't believe it, and believe me, I thought it for a while, that you are created with intention. Because nothing in our life, even if it's unconsciously, happens without an intention, happens without a thought. The thought is followed by a word, by an action, right? You all know that. That means everything in our whole universe, in our life, is created by intention, by God's intention. All right? Everything is created by intention. So, in this moment when you were created, there was, of course, like that you are able to come to life, right? When we're speaking now from a way how it should be, right? There is sexual energy in place, or this is how we name it, right? There is this sexual energy that manifests life. However, this energy, because we know man and woman are able to create life, are able to create babies, are able to create human beings. So just imagine what for an creative act that is. It doesn't mean that the sexual energy only has to do like with the intimacy, for example, itself, right? And from here, it really comes then down to so many beliefs society, we humans are having about intimacy and sex. Because, for example, and I can maybe touch base on this topic in another episode even more is that, for example, for a woman, right? Like a woman, before a woman is ready for an intimate act, she should have at least a 20 to 30-minute foreplay where the body is really ready for more intimacy. And if you like it or not, you cannot rush that because if you want to understand what a what like an orgasmic experience with your partner in a sacred union can be, like that intimacy needed to be treated like an holy act because it is very holy and it it can activate and should like activate every little cell in your body, right? Like through activating this life force energy, right? And this is, for example, when I, go now, like, for example, a little bit to the Tantra, it's like why you work then so much with the breath. Why in Kundalini Yoga, we work so much with the breath, right? Because if you're intimate with someone, right, you want to really come into the body. You want to be in the body. You want to come from the ego mind into the heart. You want to be in the present moment. This is why so often when the intimacy doesn't work out with couples, it is because they are in their head. They are not fully in the body. They didn't arrive. Then you are anyway like very disturbed, for example, and dysregulated from your daily life you're already in, right? So it just takes like, yeah, it just takes, of course, also time and effort to, if you have a desire, to not like just, very quickly to satisfy this desire. Of course, there comes a little bit work with to it. What happens today in our society is that we are so overstimulated, right? Is that the sensuality and the intimacy very often loses its depth, and that people are overstimulated, for example, also when we speak about men, like through pornography or through like sexual images on the internet, right? Like that we are really losing the touch to our sacred essence and to really be then also, for example, satisfied, like in a good way from a conscious desire. Because if we have an unconscious desire, right? And unconscious desires are coming from unconscious behavior, and unconscious behavior very often comes from trauma. Okay, I give you an example. Let's say you have an unconscious desire because at first you maybe didn't learn things, right? Like let's say if I'm just speaking back to the topic about sexuality, that, for example, young men, like young boys, let's say like in the teenage age, when they, for example, masturbate, like the young boys, they are, for example, hiding when they do it or go to the bathroom. And then they, for example, think, oh my God, like have now this porn magazine in front of me. And then my mom should not come in. So I just have 2 minutes, right? This is literally like really harming the natural process of this boy growing then to an older man who will then maybe ejaculate earlier, right? Which a lot of men struggling with. And this is, of course, and this is why I'm speaking today also about, because this is the topic about sexuality. There is so much shame around it in our world. There is so much darkness, for example, around this topic. And today, way more people speak about that. And it's just like that we have not been taught how to do so, right? Like we women should be taught by our mothers what our menstrual cycle is, how, to welcome our period. We need to celebrate our period. We need to celebrate when the period comes the first time in our life and when it comes every month, right? Men need to learn from their father or our father figure how to hold space for the woman when she has the period, how to understand their body, how to understand our erection, what to do when their sexual desire comes up, right? And I mean, just look at animals, right? Like, I mean, my gosh, like my cats, when they have been kittens, and I mean, like like okay, blessed, like I mean they are like brother and sister, right? But if you see, and this is of course why they are nurtured today, even if like I really did not wanted to take them like this life force energy, but like this was really something I understood, okay, that has to happen with these cats. However, when I observe, I learn so much from these beautiful creatures is that animals don't care, right? Like just look at lions in the nature. When an animal has a sexual desire, there is no shame or something. It's just normal, for them, for example, to express themselves, to procreate and all of that. However, for us humans, it's very different. It's different from what people think how intimacy should look like. And then I mean, so many points are coming then into the topic where people have like less self-esteem because they're not feeling good looking in their body or they're not feeling worthy. And then there is like, again, we humans, we are very less than not in the body, we are in the mind. And then there's the self-doubt. And very often intimacy also becomes a performance and it's not coming from heart to heart. And of course, also if one partner realizes the other person is not in the body and is not connected from heart to heart, then we coming again into our mind and then all the spiral starts, right? So, how we can avoid that is coming back also to the leaking energy, is that at first we need to understand our energy management and the sexual energy, right? Who can create life and manifest life can also not only manifest life, your sexual energy, if you use it in the right way, can manifest your desire. And I want to explain you more. If you get in touch with this energy, which literally sits in your like in your sacral, right? So let's say if you can touch now, if you have the video on, you see me, I am touching here my navel. If I go, let's say 3 fingers under my navel, where I have also, the womb for the woman, and the men have also a little bit lower, the sexual organs. If you are here, if you have here your hand, then you know that here is in the middle, like in the middle, like not on the outer side, but in the middle of the body, like around around your spine kind of, is your second energy center. Okay, we have the first energy center around the perineum, the anus muscles. And then when you go more up, let's say from there, depending also on your height, 10 to 15 centimeters, that's your second energy center. And this second energy center represents the creativity, right? But also, here are the emotions stored of shame, of guilt, of sadness. And of course, when we feel guilty, ashamed, sad, we will not be able to have a creative, flowy, beautiful, connected experience. Doesn't matter if it means in life or doesn't matter if it means in our intimate life, right? So here is your second energy center. And through the power, for example, of Kundalini Yoga, we are able to activate this energy and to balance the energy, right? Because what we do in Kundalini Yoga is we balance the energy centers, right? So we not only, of course, only balance the second energy center, we balance all the energy centers. However, in certain movements, we work a lot in Kundalini Yoga with the second energy center. We work with two things a lot of Kundalini Yoga. With your brain, why you feel after Kundalini yoga class immediately different. I was just teaching yesterday evening a class and I loved it. A woman after, she said, I'm always asking people if they're doing Kundalini yoga for the first time, and very often people do. Very often, it's so interesting. People tell me that they were, for example, for a Kundalini yoga workshop years ago, and then they had the calling now to come back, which is like that with Kundalini yoga. It will call you. And then, yeah, she just said like that she had the calling to come to the class and she had already done Kundalini yoga. And then after the class, it was such a lovely ladies class yesterday. And she was just, just after like, Kundalini is just the best. Like, Kundalini is just the best. Because if you really get in touch with this practice, you will just understand it just changes you. It just changes your life. The practice is so incredible, amazing that you can do a practice without feeling good after. It's literally like that. You can do a practice without feeling good after, right? And if it's guided correctly, right? If you're open to the practice, right? Then I do believe that you will always feel amazing. This is also just like from my own experience, from the teachers I know, from my colleagues, and from all the people I practice and all my students. And yeah, just like from the feedback. So this is my this is my based science. This is my based science example. So, coming back, we work very much with the brain. This is why I said like we are stimulating directly and changing our blood chemistry. We are working through chanting the mantras very much with our vagus nerve, with the whole nervous system, right? We are connecting our head with our heart. So, this is why it's so heart opening. It's also very often very emotional for people, a very big release. And also, we are working a lot through exercises with the navel, and this is why, of course, here sits your second energy center and the third energy center, and this is why we are activating your second energy center, your Svadhisthana chakra, which doesn't mean, again, as I wanted to say, like Kundalini yoga is not made at all for only for the purpose to activate your sexual energy. However, it has this all around purpose to balance all the energy centers. However, of course, I told you, God was very wise and that we humans have the ability to create life and to manifest, and that there is an incredible power. And this power that can create life is also holding our whole universe together, this life force energy. And this energy is everywhere, right? Like it's everywhere, but you can also connect with it, and it's like a portal to God. It's the only thing I can explain you. And the more you practice Kundalini Yoga, the more you will be able to switch into this portal. And the more you connect to God, the more you will be able to see yourself, your beautiful self, and to connect you to yourself and to find out who you truly are. And when we then, through the different practices in yoga, like the breath, the meditation, the movements, we are able to use our energy then intentional, right? Instead of following like then unconscious desires, will we will understand, okay, what is a real desire, what I have? For example, a desire to create, a desire of expressing my soul, right? There is like, I was just yesterday reading something beautiful. The ego wants to impress, and the soul wants to express. And there's a big difference in that. And when you are more connected to yourself, you will have this urge and this huge desire to express yourself. And this is, of course, a healthy desire. This is, of course, a healthy desire. And back then, because I just don't know if I actually finished that sentence back then, when I said that unhealthy desires come from, yeah, no, I don't think I finished it. Like they come from unhealthy desires, come, for example, from unconscious behavior and from trauma. And of course, this is why, for example, then some people and we humans and me also, right? We are tending then to, for example, overeating, overconsuming, scrolling, drinking, taking drugs, smoking, right? Whatever. Everyone has the different coping mechanisms, right? And they come because in a moment when life was challenged, you use that coping mechanism. And these are, of course, unhealthy desires. Other unhealthy desire, very connected to the second energy center, is, for example, pornography. I will not go into unhealthy desires, which are very, very, very dark. I will not speak now about the dark forces and the dark agenda and everything. So, your second energy center, has then the power to transform unhealthy desires. And this is what the monks and the celibates, right, in yoga, when we speak now back at Brahmacharya, were doing. They were absolutely, for example, also saying, yeah, okay, they will, for example, not have sexual intimacy at all. However, this is not the point of Brahmacharya. In yoga, people think, oh, brahmacharya means like no sexuality. However, that's not right. Other yogis also found out that brahmacharya just means understand this desire, understand how strong it is, and use this sexual creative life force energy correctly. And then your energy will not be leaking. Because, of course, we know, especially for men, if they used their desire unconsciously, for example, after an ejaculation, what happens? They want to sleep. They are absolutely tired. And if you didn't know, men are also able, when they train that through Taoist practice, to have an orgasmic experience without the ejaculation, without losing the semen. Because if a man loses the semen, he will also lose life force energy, and he literally decreases his years here on earth. So really think about, if you are a man, if you're a woman, how often your partner should ejaculate. And especially if the man gets older, it really takes the life force energy out of him. So that doesn't mean no intimacy. It just means like if he's open to that, there are ways of training to separate the orgasm from the ejaculation, because exactly as I said, our orgasmic experience has way more to do with our body, with our breath, with our cells activated, and at the end, only with our brain. The orgasm happens in the brain. And that means when you train that, when you are in contact with your sexual energy and with your creative energy, then you will be really more intentional, right? You will not have your energy so much leaking, as we spoke at the beginning of the episode about, that you will not, at first like have no boundaries, give your energy to anyone. And you will also be consciously about how you structure your day, how you structure your week, how you structure your month, how you want to structure your year, your next year, and so on, right? And if you don't think that much forward, then at the end, you can just still be very conscious of knowing, okay, how do you want to structure the day, and how you structure your day will impact how you structure your life. And by that, yeah, you can become really more intentional and use your energy for the right ways. Okay, everybody. And for the end of the episode, I will share with you, as I promised, this short Kundalini Yoga practice, which is often used in a full Kriya. A Kriya is a set in Kundalini Yoga. We have long sets, short sets, and a set is filled with different movements, of different breathing exercises, sometimes with mantra chanting, sometimes with meditation. So sometimes a kriya can be just one posture and one meditation, sometimes even just one posture. Sometimes it can be 10 postures, sometimes it can be 40 postures. And we have in Kundalini Yoga over thousands of kriyas. So this is why also every class I, for example, teach is completely different. And now I want to show you the Kriya, which is called Sat Kriya. So for this one, you can please come into rock pose. This is how we are calling Vairasana in Kundalini Yoga. So you want to sit on the heels and you want to make sure that your back is slightly bent. So in this case, it's not straight, it's slightly bent. If this one is not working for you, you can just stay in easy pose. All right. So you can just stay in easy pose like that. Okay. If a part of that, you come into rock pose. All right. And then from here, you want to interlace your hands like this. I come closer to the camera so that you can see it. You interlace all the finger except the index finger. We call it in Kundalini Yoga the Jupiter finger. And for the woman, you bring the left thumb over the right. For the man, you bring the right thumb over the left. So it looks like this. It's a very, very firm grip. All right. And I will show you the end posture. But if the end posture is too intense for you, you bring the hands in front of the navel, pointing away from you, right here in the height of your second and third energy center. And if you're able, then you point them up. Okay, like this, but completely straight. The arms are completely straight. Adjust camera even more so that you see it. So they are shining completely up. All right, so it looks like this. And your upper arms want to touch the ears. All right, so you really straighten them up. Okay, this is the posture. Either you stay like this or you bring the hands down below the navel. Okay, and then we are chanting a mantra. The mantra is called Satnam, which means in yoga, truth is my identity. When you chant the Sat, you push the navel in, Sat, and with the Nam, you release the navel, Nam. Sat, Nam. Sat, Nam. And that's it. So we can do it now for 30 seconds together. So just for you to train it. You come into your seat, interlace the finger, hands over the head, close the eyes, focus on the point between your eyebrow, inhale deep, exhale fully, inhale to chant. Sat, Nam, 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 Sat, Nam. Inhale deep, relax the navel. Hold the breath, activate Mula Bandha, root lock, that means contract anus muscle, perineum, sex organs, push the energy up into your midbrain. You do this by holding the root lock and visualizing how this energy is coming up into the midbrain, doing its magic. On the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere, energy goes where attention goes. Hold the breath for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, swipe your aura. come back into the room, open your eyes, shake the body out. And yes, guys, this was Sat Kriya for those of you who don't know that practice. And if you want to work with Sat Kriya, you can do this exercise always, please, with an empty stomach. In the morning, 3 minutes or 11 minutes. And when we do Kundalini Yoga, we always want to tune in with the Adi mantra. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times, which means I bow to the divine teacher, I bow to the wisdom within me, and I bow to something greater than myself. So if you want to use this short Kriya for example, 11 days to just see how it can impact your life, right? Just say 11 days, 3 minutes in the morning, then I please invite you, tune in with the Adi mantra and tune out with Satnam, right? You already practiced the mantra Satnam, so also just tune out with Satnam. You can say the mantras inside, but why we chant the mantras out loud in Kundalini Yoga is it's not about the mantra, it's about the vibration the mantra creates, right? And this is why, for example, when we're chanting Ong, the Ong, you just create like a different vibration with the body, and most likely it takes sometimes it takes them years to chant the Ong completely right, because when you chant the Ong, the exhalation actually comes through the nose. And yeah, but this would be now a topic for the class, but like just for you to know, tuning in with the Adi mantra, tuning out with Satnam. This was the Sat Kriya mantra, and you can also find on Spotify. I mean, my yoga school is on Spotify with all the playlists I'm using for my classes, and either there or just in Spotify, when you search Sat Kriya workout, you will find mantras that will help you to chant, right? There are then versions exactly for 3 minutes or for 11 minutes, then you are not chanting on your own and you can just chant with the mantra. And you will also always find on Spotify the Adi mantra for tuning in, and also the closing mantra of Kundalini Yoga. Okay, guys, I hope this was insightful. Let me know in the comments what, your experience is with, or you had like with any art of Kundalini Yoga or Kundalini activations, if you had some, if you have any thoughts to that, any questions, and what you could take out today from the episode. And I'm looking forward seeing you next week again. Sending much love. Bye bye, and have a great day.